Whoosh. Fake versus real martial artists. All right. How do you tell the difference between a fake or a real martial artist? What makes a martial artist fake or real? Well, this is the thing. If a person develop their own style, does that make them a fake martial artist? So to me, when it comes to martial arts, I look at martial arts as a way of life, as everything. Everything is martial arts. So basically, to exercising, from doing a squat, from doing a push-up, from doing a sit-up, from eating the right type of food, what you put into your body, internal, external, so I look at it as a whole, as one. So not because you can do a punch or a kick, that doesn't really make you a martial artist, because there's other things that comes along with being a martial artist, the discipline aspect, the respect, the honor. And when I mean discipline, I mean, the training you put in, the years of training, the consistency of your training. So meaning that you don't train for just like from 10 to 15 years old and then, I'm a martial artist now, so no more martial artists, no more martial arts for me now. I'm just gonna just stop exercising or whatever. I mean, that to me that's lack of discipline, and then this lack of consistency. So to make a martial artist, you have to train. Training is very important. Consistency in your training. And that just don't mean just kicking and punching. I mean overall everything. From weightlifting, from flexibility to yoga, to gymnastics, just name it. Just a blend of everything. And when I mean lifting weights, I mean not like 200, 300 pounds, just could be just lightweight, just to maintain, your ligaments, your joints, just to maintain your muscle, help you from, getting injured, stretching daily, eating correctly, eating the right kind of food, not drinking alcohol, not smoking, taking drugs, that all goes into being a real martial artist. So a lot of people get it twisted. They just think that, just how you kick and you punch and this and that. That has a lot to do with it too, but there's the other aspect of it that goes along with it also. So as far as the technical part of it, the formation, coordination, the balance aspect plays a big part. So meaning the foundation of your training. So when I mean foundation, I mean I've been training since I was 4 years old, going by age. I always mention age because that's how people get to understand, how long you've been on this earth for. So, cause to me, age is just a number. So going by age, I started at 4. Now I'm 36 years old, going on 37. So I've been training for a pretty long time, just going by age. So I built a foundation in my training from doing karate. So that was my base, that was my foundation. So through karate, which is traditional, the style I did was Shorin-ryu, which is a traditional martial arts style. So a lot of people think that because the style is karate and traditional, it's not real martial arts, it's like bullshit. But you don't understand that, yeah, there's some stuff from karate might not work in certain situations, but that all comes down to the person who's executing the technique and also the person that you're encountering. So the style doesn't make the person makes the style. So it doesn't matter what style you do, It all comes down to the practitioner, to the person. So you could do Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, name it. You can do any kind of martial arts. But if you don't consistently train on a daily basis, train the fundamentals, and believe in what you're doing, whatever style you're doing, it's going to seem ineffective to you. It's going to seem like it doesn't work. Like, oh, this karate doesn't work, this Kung Fu doesn't work. It's not the Kung Fu, it's not the karate, it's not the style. It's you. It's the person, the practitioner. You didn't train hard enough. You didn't put the effort, the work in, the consistency, the daily training. And there's a lot of different ways of training and building the body, building the mind. The mind is very important. The mind is first, then the body after. So you have to build your mind. Then, you know, the mind will guide you along, and then you build the body, you build your techniques, and you train consistently. That's the most important thing. So it's never the style. So when I mean, you know, there's a fake, what is a fake versus real martial artist? It all comes down to the consistency of your training, the fundamentals. Did you learn the basics? Do you understand the basics? The basic principles? Simply the basic movement, forward movement, back movement, lateral movement. Those are basics before even punching and kicking, just basic walking. I know when you're a baby and you're born, first thing you do is start to crawl. You never walk, you never get up and start walking, you crawl first. So this is what I'm saying. You know, you cannot just start walking and then just, you know, start teaching. So what I'm saying is you cannot just skip the fundamentals and skip the basics and then start doing advanced stuff and then think that you're a martial artist. That's where it looks like it's fake. So it's very simple. You know, you have to understand the basics. And basics means just walking, basic balancing. If you're kicking and you're falling over, you have a lot more work to do. you have a lot of work to do. So balance is important. Your coordination, your control, how you control the technique, how you control your punching, your kicking, you know. So those are fundamentals. And once you learn those fundamentals, you know how to move, in and out movement, lateral movements, you understand your balance, and this could take years. You know, you get control, coordination, your accuracy, and your techniques. And then you're going to start combining everything together, and it's going to become one. And that's when you feel right in your body, you know, like everything just flows in one motion. So that's the difference between fake and a real martial artist. A real martial artist start from nothing, start from the bottom, just learning how to walk, movement, just moving in and out, footwork. That's all he's learning, basics. No belt color, nothing. Don't worry about belt just to hold your pants up. He's training for the love, the passion of the art. And after he learns the footwork, movement, then he might go into maybe learning how to do a proper push-up. Then how to do a proper horse stance. I mean, there's a lot to it, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, as I said, you cannot start walking before you crawl. So, and once you learn these fundamentals, you know, eventually after a while, you reach to a point where you can start developing your own art. You can start developing from what you've done through the years. You take pieces, parts from everything, and come up with your own thing. But this takes years. And still, after years of training, you're still learning, still a journey. That's why you're picking from everything, because you're still learning, you're still developing, It never ends. Martial arts, way of life. It's never going to end. Even when you die, there is still martial arts going on. So, as I said, that's the difference. And don't confuse yourself that traditional is fake martial arts. There's no such thing. You know, there are movements in every style, but unfortunately, you only have 2 legs and you have 2 hands and you have a head. So basically, there's just so much different movements that you can do with your body. And it all comes on to the one thing. You're going to punch and you're going to kick. It all comes on to the way how you kick and the way how you punch, the way how you move. Different people have different formation. So every style is useful. It's just up to you, the practitioner, to make that style work. See? So it's never the style. And just remember that, yeah, you train martial arts all your life and you develop all these skills, these techniques, and you consider to be a real martial artist. But just remember that it's a journey. So you take it to your death. And when I said to your death, and even when you die, it still goes on. So some people do, just give up and just say, hey, okay, you just stop training. Does that make them a fake martial artist? No, that doesn't make them fake. It's just that there was a time when, they used to train and they don't train anymore. They don't train mentally, physically. They don't take care of themselves anymore. They don't incorporate martial arts in their life anymore. So that passion and love has to be there. That drive, that motivation. Without that, you're not going to get up every morning and do the same thing that you've been doing for 30 years. It's very hard. A lot of people are lacking that. It's something that you can't teach. Sometimes it's just something that you have to have. That fire inside burning. That passion that never goes away. Even when you die, it's still there. It's still burning even when you're gone. Your spirit is just there, So that's what I'm saying is, that passion, that love, meaning there's competition. There's like cage fighting, there is kickboxing fights, But when it comes to martial arts, it doesn't matter if you're competing or not. You still train. You train daily, you train every other day, you train throughout the years. So it doesn't matter if you're going to fight or you're going to compete. Martial arts is a way of life, Like somebody said to me, oh, so what is your goal? Like what are you going to do? You're always working out. And I'm like, I said, to me, martial arts is a way of life. And I used to compete, but I don't compete anymore. And even when I was competing, I still train every day. I train every other day. Because I don't see myself just doing something or training something just to get a reward or to get a trophy or to get praise for it. I don't look up on life like that. I do this for myself. So it's basically like walking to me now. There's sometimes I'm doing it and I don't even know. So that's how you can tell a real martial artist also from a fake martial artist. That passion, that love for the art. So that's the difference. And as I said, that's something that comes from years of training. Start from sometime from when you're young. And it can start from your old also. It doesn't really matter. What it does come down to and really matters is just on the person. The person's love for that art and that consistency. Willing to just learn basic stance for years or basic foot movement for years before they move to the next technique, you know. So to me, that's how I recognize a real martial artist. And when it comes to full contact fighting, cage fighting, street fighting, martial arts, all those are different. All those are different. There is cage fighting, and there's martial arts, and there's street fighting. So there's techniques that cannot be used in a cage because there's rules and it's a game. And when I mean game, when I say game, there is rules, there is time limits, there is judging, there is certain techniques you cannot use, you know. Can a martial artist do full contact fighting and cage fighting? Sure. I mean, I was doing full contact fighting, I was doing cage fighting, I was doing kickboxing, I was doing point fighting, I was doing all that stuff, you know. So yeah, martial artists can do those things. You know, they still have the discipline aspect. You know, they're probably doing it for means of making money to support their family. You know, they're probably trying to fulfill like you know, something inside of them, that a passion that they have for competition, which I used to have. I still have it a little bit, but it's not really there anymore. It's just a little bit is there. Every once in a while I feel like it, you know, but I feel froggy, like I want to jump. But you know, it's not there anymore. So you know, my thing is more on my mental, spiritual aspect right now. You know, can I get back to myself like I used to be back in the days? So as I say, you know, competition is not a bad thing. You know, just you can't get caught up in it. You can't get lost in it and forget about the martial arts. You know, so once you see yourself just training just to compete, then you need to really step back from competing and get back to your martial arts, because eventually you're going to lose the art. Because all you're going to do is just want to compete, and you're just training for that. And whenever a fight coming up, you're just going to just train for that. That doesn't make you a martial artist, no. That makes you a fighter. That does make you a fighter. That's a difference. Martial artist trains daily. His consistency in his training, work his techniques regardless of what the situation is, regardless of if there's a competition or not. He's still training. That's a martial artist. The love, discipline aspect, how he take care of his body, you know, from the food he eats. That's a martial artist. The love for others, the caring, passionate, you know. So all those combine into one is what makes a martial artist.